but we figured we'd just go with he's a legend.
I'd like to hear like all the things that he is, if that's all right. Because it's new for us, Jimmy. You know, we've only been open just over a year, and like some of us are not even sure what a coach is.
No, and that's perfect, because that's what I'm going to discuss a little bit, because as someone who, I literally got involved 6 months after this whole thing was created, so been around 11 years. And so I know what it's like to get involved with something that's brand new and how it can be scary and overwhelming. And so a little bit of what I'm going to talk about when we jump in this today is how something that's new, and when you don't have people around you as testimonies, right? You don't have physical proof that, hey, this works in a certain area. It takes a lot of courage. And first and foremost, I just want to say how much I respect and honor everybody that's on here tonight, because that means the world to me, because you're putting faith in something before there's necessarily evidence. A year in, like, and obviously those of us over here in the States have been doing this for a decade, and hopefully we can set an example for how things work, but we're learning your culture as well. You know, for this is a huge learning curve for all of us, because as we start to expand internationally, every culture is gonna be a little different, you know? And so I think it's awesome. So yes, we'll go through who I am. I was gonna open with my story anyway, because I didn't assume everybody knew who I was, because there's no reason for you to, right? There's no reason for you to.
Yes, but as we want to know.
Yeah, like, so funny story, like the first time we met Jimmy was actually at,
I knew who he was.
you knew who he was.
I knew. You don't remember what happened, do you, Jimmy?
At Disney?
She embarrassed you.
It was sweet.
I embarrassed myself.
She embarrassed everybody, really, but that's kind of a common thing. So anyway, Jimmy Nelson, superstar coach, million club member, 4 times elite. Again, I don't want to go in too much, because like we'd sort of said that, and Jimmy's going to go through his whole story. So I think it's quite funny and quite appropriate that we initially met at Disney,
right? Which
is, I suppose, maybe where some of the stuff begins. Because I read a little bit on your website and stuff, so I've been on there, and like all your content and stuff you've got is amazing.
Thank you.
Like if you guys haven't listened to the team, the UK call that Jimmy did, it's just amazing. And follow him on Instagram, all his stories and things he does. It's like he's just got a story going all of the time, and he's always giving out and adding value, which is some of the stuff that we talk about. And I think that's so important, and that's why we wanted Jimmy to come on, because he just adds value to everything that he touches.
I really appreciate that. And, you know, it's funny to, you know, it really is, guys. It's really funny to hear that, because, you know, sometimes you have to look up and you don't realize how far you've come with something, right? And sometimes it's always so easy for all of us to focus on what hasn't been done, the weight that hasn't been lost, the money that hasn't been earned, the rank we didn't get, the success club point we didn't get, whatever that is. And sometimes as we're showing up on a daily basis, and it's really what I want to talk a lot about today is just consistency and showing up every day. I had somebody, it was a couple summits ago, we were backstage, and I had this guy come up to me, and he was, you know, had some really nice things to say. And he's like, Jimmy, he's like, can you tell me, you know, what was it? What was it that made your business take off? And I'm going to start with this, and I'm going to back up in my story for a minute. But he's like, so what was it? What was the turning point? What was the magic sauce? And I stopped for a second, because I'd really never had anybody ask me that. And I was like, you know, there wasn't one. I said, there wasn't some magic aha moment where this business goes into cruise control. There wasn't some magic aha moment where you just get it. And the reason I want to share that with you guys is, before getting started in Beachbody or in business, I'll tell you a little bit about my backstory. So I was a 3-time college dropout. So did never finish any university, went, failed. And I found myself in my early 20s moving back in with my parents, 100 pounds overweight. So I had aspirations to be an actor and a performer. As Kevin said, I spent some time, I worked at Disney World for 2 years, because I was just a big fan of that whole culture. And I knew at a very early age, I was designed to be in front of people and to get an emotional response from an audience, whether that was to inspire, to touch, to challenge, to move. But the bad thing about realizing what you're designed to do at a very early age is when you hate the body you're in. right? Like I'm supposed to be in front of people, but the most terrifying thing for me to do was to be in front of somebody because I had no self-confidence. I couldn't stand up in front of somebody with my shoulders back. Even in my posture, I apologize for myself a lot, right? Shoulder slump, trying to cover this that I was ashamed of, growing up in a broken home, kind of pulled between two families growing up. And so if you watch my videos on YouTube or anything, and if you haven't, I really encourage you to do, because anything I've ever taught my team, I put out there publicly because I want us to win as a network, right? And I'm going to encourage you to do the same, is that wasn't always the case in this network. And I look at it this way, I can come on here and give up my time and you guys win, even though we're all not on the same quote unquote team. If you guys win, that means our expansion to the UK is a success. And if that's a success, then it wins there. And if that's a success, we get to go to the next country. Then we get to go to the next country. We get to impact more people and more lives are changed. And this thing keeps going. This thing that has changed my life, my family's life, my life because of this. But had you sponsored me, you wouldn't have looked and said, oh my gosh, here's my next 15-star diamond coach. This guy's going to be 4-time elite, because I came into this with a ton of self-doubt. I came in this not thinking I was good enough or qualified or worthy. And so I just want to share that with me, because you may be saying, gosh, Jimmy, I know I could do this business 10 pounds from now. I know I could do this business. I'm going to try to, once I get certain rank or once I start making enough money, then I can share this with people. And it's a little backwards. And one thing I'm going to really encourage you to do is that's like saying you're going to open a sandwich shop, right? You're going to open a sandwich shop and you're like, you know what? I'm going to turn on the open sign after I sell 50 sandwiches. But if nobody knows you're open, you're never going to sell 50 sandwiches, right? Like you have to tell people you're open for business, whether or not you know the sandwiches are any good, whether or not you know how to sell a sandwich or do anything else. You kind of have to put yourself out there. And one of the advantages I had, and so back to my story, right? 100 pounds overweight, 3-time college dropout. I'm living at home with my parents in my 20s. Things aren't going well. I had completely given up my dream of performing, and I was just working at a bar. And a buddy of mine, I noticed, started losing some weight. And, specifically talking to the gentleman in here, guys, it's really hard for us to ask another dude, like, what are you doing? You ladies have such an advantage on us because you love sharing, like, what's the hair product? What's your makeup? Where did you get that blouse? Why do you look so good? Y'all are amazing shares. And that's why you women are like crushing it in this network. And I think it's wonderful. Us guys have this little ego problem sometimes that we need to get over, and a lot of excuses. And so finally, this buddy of mine, he's losing weight. And so I finally asked, I'm like, hey, Jeremy, what are you doing? And this was before Beachbody On Demand. And he said, I'm doing these DVDs. And I was out. I'm like, nope. I was like, I'm not working out at home. I was like, that's for women. I'm not going to. And you know what's funny? Think about this. I saw somebody else having the results I wanted. Yet his answer didn't fit into the box in my brain that I wanted it to. So I said no. You're going to see. So I initially was a no with the product. And think about that. You're going to face this as you go through this business. Somebody's going to say, you look amazing. What are you doing? And you're going to say, I drink this shake every day. And they're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. Okay, well, you asked, and you're going to find that sometimes just because people ask for a solution doesn't mean they want a solution. Or if they tell you, hey, they have a problem, some people just like to complain, right? And some people just feel really good because they're like, I can't. And I'm like, but I drink this and I'm never sick and I lose weight. I just talked to a woman on Instagram the other day. She's like, yeah, but I need food. I don't like to drink things. I'm like, okay. I was like, and I always go back to the story. I'm like, well, all I know is I've lost 100 pounds drinking this shake. I've kept off that weight for 15 years. My dad got off 2 heart medications with it. But if you ever change your mind and you really want results, come back to me. And it's not my job to convince, drag, or pull people into this business, right? And so it wasn't my buddy's my buddy's job to convince me, because I told him no, and he's like, okay. And I kept watching him, and he kept losing weight. And so finally I circled back around. And this is why consistency in this business is so imperative. And again, going back to Jimmy, where did your business change? I just kept showing up, even though I had no necessarily any confidence in this early on. And so I got started. And I started with Power 90, old school Power 90 before P90X existed. And all I knew is if I pushed play and I worked out with Tony Horton in these tiny little shorts every morning, I started seeing results. And it wasn't necessarily about physically what was going on in my body. I was actually excited about something for the first time in a long time in my life. That's what I got addicted to. The feel of being excitement and the feel of being a part of a community. Now, again, we didn't have the beauty of a Zoom call like this. We literally had message boards where people would it was just type and had these tiny little pictures. There was no Facebook. And I always feel like I'm such an old man when I tell these stories, like back in my day, we had to walk 3 miles up the snow, but we didn't have these tools. Like if I was getting started right now, if I were you and you're getting started, or maybe you've just been in this for a year, there has never been a more exciting time to be a part of this right now because you have access to things like this. This is what I knew. When I got in and I started having this success, when I got in and I started becoming part of the community, not just a fly on the wall, but an active part of the community. I tell my team this all the time. Successful coaches are engaged coaches. Not just on the fly on the wall, but you're in the team page. You're encouraging other people. You're asking questions. Oh my gosh, when did it become wrong to ask flipping questions in our society? We're like, people are like, well, I don't know how to do that. And we have a team page. I know you guys have a team page that somewhere in this, especially if like income or impacting more people is your goal, it's ego versus paycheck. Which is more important to you? It's ego versus impacting people's lives. Which is more important to you? To look a little stupid by asking a question? And you know the crazy thing? You will never be a part of another business where everybody's willing to share every answer with you and they want you to win. Think about a regular job. If I'm hiring you in a job as an employee, or I'm your manager, I'm going to teach you certain things, but I'm not going to teach you everything because you can take my job if I do that. You can't take my job in this business. In fact, if you outperform me, that's awesome. I tell my team all the time, come past me. Right? If the Wrights go past Melissa McAllister, you know what? She's ecstatic. If they're top 10 next year, or elite, or 15-star, or whatever, like, no, it isn't costing me money, rank, my job, nothing. So when you choose not to ask a question because you're like, well, I don't want to look silly and stuff, everybody's rooting for you. We want you all to win. But you have to come back to where you got to come back to the community. Too many times I get really frustrated. Like, we're all adults here, right? You signed up for this because you didn't want a boss. So, and I get this all the time, that these people, they have a bad week, or something bad happens, or they get off track, or they gain some weight. And instead of coming back to the family that wants to love on them, they isolate themselves. Again, it's pride and ego. They're like, you know what? I'm going to go fix this first. And once I fix it, then I'll come back. And it's the biggest mistake you can make. And I understand it because we're ashamed. I put the weight back on. I drop rank. I didn't make Success Club. Well, I don't know what it is. Whatever you're, I still haven't, I haven't sold a product yet. I don't know what that is for you, but there's probably something in you where you've decided to go, I'm going to go try to fix this on my own. And just don't go in the wilderness by yourself. There is power in this team, and nobody's going to judge you. I tell my team all the time, you're welcome to come to the team page. Sometimes you just got to get stuff off your chest, right? Really frustrated. You just need to complain about something. I don't mind. As long as you know my answer after that, once you get it all out of your system, is going to be great. What are we going to do about it? Right? There's no pity party for the sake of pity party. Bring your issues. Let's complain about it. Get it all out of your system. Cool. What's the solution? Right? Because if all we do is complain, there is nothing with that. Thank you, Jane, for being honest with that. You've done that. We've all done that. Like I'm saying, we've all done that where we're like, I need to get away. But the accountability and being in the group, even if think of it this, let's say you've struggled with something. So I don't know, Jane, what it was for you, but you struggle with something, or you put some weight back on, or you're like, gosh, I'm not feeling very encouraged. You know the fastest way to get out of your head in that black hole, that quicksand that takes us down? Go encourage somebody else. Come into the team page and see somebody that's actually having a win, and just go tell them, great job. Great job. Even if you feel awful about yourself, go pat somebody else on the back, and you watch your mind change. You watch your attitude change, because if all we're doing is this, the energy comes this way, you're just going to keep sinking. If you're in your head, you're dead all day long. Like, go take action. In your head, you're dead. Action is what gets you out. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. If you change your physical state, you will change your mental state. Like, literally, if I'm in my office and I'm sitting here and things are going bad or something's not working quite right, then I physically get up and go do something else. I got to move this, whether it's a workout, whether it's getting up and texting one of my coaches and just saying, hey, I just want to say, hey, I'm thankful for you. Anything to change that, right? So once I got in, and when I started as a customer, coaching hadn't launched yet. But I had enough success with the products. P90X came out about that time. I started getting in amazing shape, which I didn't know was possible for anybody in my family because, you know, so many of us, people are like, oh, I want to look like I looked when I was 18, or I want to look like I looked when I was 21. Well, I didn't want to look that way because I was heavy then. So I didn't know my potential. All of a sudden I'm doing P90X and I'm like, whoa, that's muscle mass. Like, this is, and nobody in my family looked like that. And I got excited enough so that I moved to New York City to pursue my acting career. When I was in New York was when the coaching program launched. And one of the people that I had met on the message boards was a founding coach, Melanie Bolin. And she said, Jimmy, I really think you'd be good at this. And it's really funny. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you see somebody, or you have a customer, and they're really great about just saying how awesome these programs are. And oh my gosh, I'm doing BOD or whatever. And you're like, you'd make a great coach. And the minute they have the potential to make income with this, they freak out about it. Like, somewhere they've correlated making money as a negative thing, or it's no longer genuine. I had the same issue, right? Because I had a messed up relationship with money because of how I was brought up, because of what my parents had put in me, right? I look at it this way. In this business, thank you notes, that means we actually changed a life, come in dollar signs. Because you don't make any money in this business unless you actually tangibly get somebody results. We don't make a ton of money just by signing people up. Real true wealth and freedom in this business is if I bring you in and I work with you and you flourish. You have to get real results. Same thing with the products in the program. If I get you a challenge back and tell you to drink this stuff and I don't get you real results, you know what you're going to do? You're going to return it all and get your money back. I didn't make any money. So our job starts when that customer signs up, when that coach joins. They're not a Success Club point where, like, I'm done. That's where your job as a coach starts, right? Because they've trusted you to get started with something. So Melanie reaches out to me and I'm like, I don't know. But I did know I was a broke actor living in New York City. And New York City is very expensive. So I literally signed up for the discount. So again, I'm going to share this with you because some of you have people on your team that you're like, oh, they're just in it for the discount and you're not paying attention to them anymore. I'm going to encourage you to continue to serve those people where they are. There's certain people that are just discount coaches and you're trying to drag them across the finish line. And I'm going to encourage you to serve them where they are. What do they need from you right now? And I used to be really, really bad at this, at really pushing people saying, you need to sign up as a coach. You should do this. I continued to present, hey, if you ever think about it, remember, you can get this discount. Remember, I see that you're already sharing cents for free, doing the exact same thing. And it's slowly and surely encouraging, but I didn't jump in this and get right to work. My mentor told me a long time ago that most of us that get into this business have a sign-up day and a start day, and they're two different days. Every once in a while, you find that person that the day they sign up, they get rocking and rolling. But most of the time, the first thing we got to fix is what's between our ears. If you've ever watched me speak or watched any of my videos, I'm really big about talking about my morning routine. And every morning when I wake up, usually around 5 o'clock in the morning, the very first thing I do is I grab my phone and I put on some kind of positive audio from YouTube, right? It's Tony Robbins, it's Gary Vaynerchuk, it's Jim Rohn, it's Les Brown, it's Eric Thomas. It's somebody speaking some life into me. Because even 11 years into this business and 15 years after putting off the weight, that negative fat Jimmy is still in here. And I've got to attack my mind before my mind attacks me. So the very first, even walking to the bathroom, before I know my name in the morning, I'm waking up, that thing's already playing. Because your first 10 to 20 minutes of your day, your mind's being primed to set you up for the rest of the day. Mel Robbins is another great one. Great one. And so if the first thing you're doing is checking to see how that Instagram posted last night, or God forbid you're going to your inbox or Facebook or news, you're dead. You're dead in the water before your day starts because you're playing defense. You need to be offensive here. You got to take care of you. Our job as a coach is to pour into other people. So if I'm starting with an empty glass, I only have this much to pour in me. So I have to fill my glass up first. How do I do that? Audios, books. And so personal development was a piece that I really pushed against early. This was the very first book I was ever challenged to read. And guys, I told you, I dropped out of school 3 times. I'm not a great reader. I'm much more of an audio guy. But this is called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. You could also pick up The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. They're very similar concepts. And the concept of the book is about tiny little decisions over time. So it's not this big decision. It isn't, let me overhaul everything. It's tiny little choices, right? Jim Rohn talks about the things you need to do every day to be successful are easy to do. You know the problem? They're also easy not to do. There's no pain point if I didn't do my workout or drink my shake today. Nothing catastrophic happens if I don't send any invites out today. Nothing catastrophic happens if I don't invite somebody to join my team today, right? Like nothing bad happens. They use this example in the book. Like if I have, if Diana has a burger and I have a salad today, we still look the same. But if she continues to eat burgers and I continue to eat salads, well then a year from now, 2 years from now, we're going to go, it seems this way. And then you end up in 2 very different places, right? So I'm going to encourage you to get into some kind of personal development. Another book that I have most of my new coaches get, and you can get this on audio too, and it's really good, is The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy. And again, because it sets the expectation that this business is simple, guys, but it's not easy. And I'm going to really encourage you to stop asking for things to be easy. Because when's the last time something amazing happened that was easy? Or think of the people that you admire, whether it's a celebrity or an athlete or an actor. Usually it's somebody that's overcome something or somebody that's mastered a skill, right? Nothing came easy to that person. We don't necessarily admire the person that grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth and never had to work for anything. We don't find those people inspiring. So no, you have to fall in love with the grind a little. And that's really what this book is about, is falling in love with the process. Because if I fall in love with the process, the results will happen. If I fall in love with reaching out to people and making friends on social media, if I fall in love with putting people in front of asking people if they want to join the team and handling objections instead of going, I hate when they ask me if this is a pyramid thing. Gosh, are they going to ask me how much this is going to cost? Know those things. Know what you're going to say. Ask your team, how would you answer these questions? Because then you've equipped yourself. And then it becomes a fun game. Does it mean everybody's going to say yes? Nope. I get told no every day. One of the turning points of my career, I will tell, I did have one, if I could put on one turning point. So you guys know they just announced like the top 10 coaches, right? And the top 10 coaches get to go on the top 10 trip. The very, very, very first top 10 trip I got to go on. I was not a top 10 coach. I've never sniffed being a top 10 coach. But my buddy Tommy Migrant was one of the top 10 coaches. And he said, do you want to come on the bike? It was a biking trip to the south of France with Carl Deichler. And he's like, would you want to go? And I was like, yes. I'd never been overseas. It was my first time overseas. I'd literally just been to the United States and Mexico up to that point ever in my life. And so I go on this top 10 trip with these coaches that I completely look up to. Some you may know if you know Josh Spencer or Barbie Kalev, Sagi's wife, Dave and Monica Ward. There's just so many people that I was just like, wow, they were coach royalty to me at the time. And so we're spending this trip in the south of France. And so in the evening, we're sitting having dinner, drinking wine and stuff. And some of them are asking me questions. I'm like, why are you asking me questions? Like, you guys are the top 10. And then I hear that they're frustrated with like, yeah, I'm really having trouble recruiting. How do I get my coaches started better? Why are my coaches in the Success Club? And I froze right there and I said, you know what? there is nothing special about these people that I put on a pedestal. I think they have some secret script or some unknown thing that I don't have. The only difference between those top 10 people and me is they were willing to talk to more people and hear no more often than I was. That's it. Whoever tells the story most wins, guys. So you need to know what your story is. Why are you in this? And I'm going to give you real quick my 4 parts to telling a good story, right? So hopefully, Shalene Johnson told me a long time ago that smart people taking notes. And so hopefully you are. And so if somebody wants to know more about what you're doing, don't jump into the 70 superfoods and Shakeology and how BOD works and how we have challenge packs and you get 2 points and you can get rank advances. Like, nobody cares about that. Like, once you're in, they care about that. But you're talking a foreign language to people on the other side. They don't care that you're Emerald, Diamond, Superstar, Diamond, Elite. Like, none of that matters to anybody outside of the Beachbody bubble. But my 4 part is, where were you? Right? So I kind of just did it for you guys. Before getting started, I was a 3-time college dropout that was 100 pounds overweight, living at home with my parents. Part 2 of your story is, what didn't you like about it? I hated the fact that I was just surviving day to day. I was no longer excited about life. And I hated that I was on somebody else's schedule and didn't respect the person that I saw in the mirror. Part 3 of that is, what did you find? I had a buddy that introduced me to an in-home fitness program that helped me regain my confidence and ultimately helped me play a significant role in other people's lives while getting me out of $60,000 in debt. And part 4 of that is, why are you excited about the future? I'm excited about the future because in 2019, I have a goal of helping other people get out of debt, improve their health, and live a life of freedom that I live. Now, let's take it from somebody that's brand new. You're like, Jimmy, that's easy for you. Look, you have all these accolades. You have this amazing weight loss story. I'm just getting started. I don't have a great story. My story's not good enough. And that's bunk. That's just, in fact, I wish I could have been a coach at the beginning of my journey. Because you know what gets people to move? Not being $1 million earner, not losing 100 pounds. That gets people to admire you, but they can't relate with that. But let's say I knew you 7 days ago, and you have a story that's like, hey, in 7 days of drinking this shake, I've lost 5 pounds and I've stopped drinking soda. Somebody's like, well, shit, I knew that person 7 days ago. If they can do that, I can do this. Oh yeah, I started this business, and in 30 days, I was able to make a couple under, maybe $100 or $200 that helped pay my cell phone bill. Oh, you did that in like your first month or your first 6 weeks? Okay. It's these small increments that actually get people to move. It's not the big giant ones. So if I'm brand new and you can still start, whether it's weight loss, whether it's in debt, whether it's you hate your job. This is what, this is where I was. This is what I didn't like about it. I was tired of feeling sluggish. I was tired of not having energy. I was tired of not being able to keep up with my kids, or I was embarrassed when the kids would have school functions and I didn't want to be a part of that. I got tired of me and my spouse arguing over money all the time. I found an at-home business that allowed me to take care of my health and fitness and really play a significant role in other people's lives that I wasn't feeling at my next job. And really, you could say this even if you signed up yesterday, because part 4 is going to be what I'm excited about. Is I plugged into a team with proven success that have seen amazing success already, that are teaching me and mentoring me. And the great thing is we have access to that. And I want to help other people as I'm learning this too. I'm brand new. I'm learning this, but I want to help you learn. I want to learn with somebody. Does anybody who wants to come with me and build this together? You don't have to be the expert, right? Leverage the team you're on. Because if I keep going up the ladder, one of my dearest best friends is Melissa McAllister, and it didn't get better than that. So it just keeps going up. And the Wrights have done such an amazing job. And you guys have all the leverage. Don't feel like you have to be the expert. Say, use their story. Use Melissa's story. Use my story. And anyone on your team, like, oh my gosh, we had this guy. Come on. Talk about this. We have access to these people. They're helping us. It's the same way. Like if you go to the grocery store, hopefully this reference helps. If you go to the grocery store and the line's really long and you're really frustrated, you're trying to get home, you're like, these people are terrible. And you get to the front of the line and that person has the button that says, I'm new, like be patient, I'm new, I'm a trainee. Then you're like, Oh, bless your heart. Like, you have all the time in the world for them. Leverage the fact that you're new. Hey, I'm new. I'm trying to get this off the ground. I'm working with some mentors that they've had amazing success. They're willing to teach us everything. I'm just looking for some people to do this with me. What you don't realize is people would rather be a part of helping you build something than wait till you're the expert. And you're never going to be the expert. I'm still figuring this out today. There's things in this business I do really well. You know what I don't do? My challenge groups kind of suck. I'm not great at those. I'm good at this. I love training. I love getting on calls. I love inspiring people. Like, we're all going to have strengths and weaknesses. Again, that's what's so great about us being a team. Because you have a strength on this, and you probably have a weakness, whether it's, I don't know how to handle objections. I can't get people to sign up. I don't know how to present the business thing. But you know what? You come back to the team. You're like, hey, guys, I got this person that's interested. I'm stuck. Can somebody help? Your team's going to want to help you. Why? Because we go back to the first part of this conversation is they want you to win. We all want you to win. If you win, we win, and this thing sticks around. And I've been a part of this network early on when we weren't sure it was going to stick around, right? It really, really was. So, and it's funny, I haven't even looked at my notes, but one of the things I realized when I look back, and it wasn't a conscious decision when I started, but I didn't get in just to try this. I knew I was a lifer when I started because I knew even if I never made $1, I was better in this community than outside of it. I liked myself better inside of it. And once I kind of let go of the, oh my gosh, I need to make $200 in my first month, or I'm going to quit. I need to be diamond by this, or I'm going to quit. I was just like, it just freed me to try things and not be so tied to the result. Because it was literally just try something and you either win or you learn. There's no failure. The only failure in this is if you quit. And every time I get a coach that tells me they're going to quit, I'm like, okay, so coaching's not for you. I was like, but are you not going to try to live a healthy life for the rest of your life? Oh yeah, of course. So is drinking this and working out still going to be part of your future? Yeah. Then why quit? Then just stick around and just be a really awesome customer and part of the community, get your discount, because life runs in seasons. And this season may not be your season to build this business, but the more you're around these people and the more you're around this thing, your belief system in yourself is going to change. So don't quit. And too many people come into this business with what I call their hand on the back door, right? So my hand's on the back door because I know something's going to be wrong with this. It's a scam. People aren't going to want to sign up. It's too expensive. Like, you've said all these things. So you have your hand on the door, and the minute somebody says boo, somebody says something that justifies that, you're like, see, I knew it, and you're out. And guys, I hope you don't mind me saying this. If you're running your business like this, you should just go ahead and leave, because you're going to anyway. I'm going to encourage you to do is let go of the damn knob and just be a part of the community and give yourself time. There's no race. It is amazing to see people jump into this thing and take off. And it's really hard sometimes to go, well, they were diamond in this amount of time, or this person was, making this much money in this thing. The funny thing about network marketing is we don't all start at the same spot. Eric Worre talks about you were either rewarded or punished by the life you led before you got into network marketing. So if you already had a huge network and you're a trusted advisor to people, yeah, when you sign up, you might have people saying yes already. But you know what's funny? Sometimes people that come out of the gate super fast, I'm more concerned about. So if you they say you need 4 to 5 people in this business to find 4 or 5 really strong people in this business, and it will change your life forever. Anywhere in your organization, not necessarily even your PS. So think of it the way you would a deck of cards. 52 cards in a deck. There are 4 aces in that thing. We're looking for our 4 aces. Now let's say, somebody signs up. Let's say Tim signs up, right? And he and I sign up at the same time, and we're flipping our cards, which means we're talking to people. And you know what? Card number 3, boom, Tim finds an ace. And that person's off and running. And then you get to card number 6, and Tim finds an ace. And I'm sitting here still flipping cards, and I'm like, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, Tim has 2 aces. Nothing. Now, here's the challenge for Tim. Does Tim have the patience? Because his last 2 aces aren't to the bottom of that deck. This is where I get concerned. People come in and have super success early and they think, I got this. It's easy. And I'm like, no, it's not if. It's when this shit's about to get really hard. Do you have the stomach for the fight? Because you got to taste something great early. I didn't get to taste something great early. I had to keep grinding. And so Tim and I are going to watch, and we're going to keep flipping cards. And maybe my aces are perfectly spaced out, so I never have to go more than a few cards to hit aces. So I get a little discouraged and hey, get a little discouraged and hey. Where I'm going to keep watching Tim is like, all right, bro, can you get to the bottom of the deck? Because you got 2 killer aces at the bottom. Like, these people are going to rock it. But we both got to flip over the same number of cards, right? And so if you're somebody that's come in and had success, I'm just going to tell you, it's not if, it's when. I had somebody come into this business that hit Success Club 100 their first month. She is no longer around. And I knew it was going to happen too. And I knew it was going to happen because she didn't stay engaged. She didn't stay engaged. She had all the potential in the world. She was just sponsoring people and not working with her people. Again, she thought the end was the Success Club point, right? She's like, point, next person, next person. I'm going to challenge you. And I don't know your philosophy of your team. I would rather you recruit less people and spend more time with them to create a foundation. I want people that aren't going anywhere with me, because this is where this business gets magical. If you will take the time to build up leaders, when something happens in your life that you need to step away from this business, it won't crumble. I have people on my team that are great retail people or great recruiters, but there's not a lot of duplication. And if they have to take off a week or two, it all falls apart. I was never the fastest builder, but I dove into people. I spent time with those people. And so when I had a family emergency that I literally had to go away for 2 weeks, you know how much my check changed? Nothing. Because I built up leaders, and those people could do this with or without me. I literally tell my team, and I had to shift. This used to be about me. And if you see me on stage, I love a camera. I love the lights. I am a performer and a performer. I love to be patted on the head and told I'm pretty. That's my love language all day long, and I will admit it. But I had to make this not about me. And so I tell new people when they come in, I was like, you get every piece of me, but my goal is for you not to need me as fast as possible. I will always be here. You can come to me, but everything used to have to run through me, because that's what stroked my ego. That's what made me feel valuable. And I had to shift. And as again, doing personal development, it was growing. It was literally plugging into that. So just commit right now to be here a year from now. Right now, like, I want to encourage you, take your phone out, go through the calendar, and from 1 year from now, put an alert that says, congratulations, you were here a year from now. And it's funny, I've been telling people this for years, and I will get messages and DMs and texts saying, with screenshots, hey, Jimmy, I'm still here. And I'm like, it just makes me so happy, because you took your hand off the back, right? Like, if you're expecting something to go wrong, it's going to, right? There's going to be ups and downs, but you just need to show up, right? So personal development every day, use a product every day, plug into your team. Here's the last piece I want to leave you with, because personal development can be fun. These training calls can be fun. And here's the trap you guys have that I didn't. I couldn't go to YouTube and watch 8 hours of coaches talk about stuff. I didn't have 400 Facebook groups to listen to Carl or the UK team or anybody talk about things. And personal development feels really good. So if I ask somebody, hey, Aaron, how did your business go today? And Aaron goes, oh my gosh, Jimmy, you will never guess. So I got up this morning, I did exactly what you said. I put on my phone, I listened to some Tony Robbins. He was awesome. And I got up and I did my workout and I had my shake. And then after that, I went into the Facebook page, and you know what? That Arnaud was in there doing a great training, and I took all these notes, and it was amazing. And then I got the kids and I had lunch, and it was healthy because I used my containers, and that was great. And then at night, you know what? You talked and I learned all these things. I had a great day of business. Aaron, I love you, but you didn't do shit with your business today because you didn't take any action, right? If you didn't go talk to another human being, you just sat here and did this, and you just felt really good that your hair was fixed and everything. And so I heard this brilliantly. So one of my favorite events that happens every year is Eric Worre does a GoPro recruiting mastery event in Vegas. And they had a gentleman from the UK speak. And I'll see if I can demonstrate this sitting down. He said that he makes himself apply to the 1-to-1 rule. However much time he has spent in personal development that day, he has to spend that exact same amount of time in activity. What do I mean by activity? Making friends, making your list, reaching out, inviting, putting the business in front of people, following up. Like giving, I say if you haven't given somebody an opportunity to tell you no today, you didn't work your business. Like, it's not our job to convince people. It's not our job. It's not even my job to get people to sign up. My job is to present information and get them to a point where they can tell me yes, no, or not right now. That's my job. My job is to inform. My job is to clarify things. My job is not to convince. My job is not to drag people into this. And so the example that's been used, it said, if your left leg is personal development and your right leg is activity, and my goal is to get across the room, it would be personal development, activity. Personal development, activity. But this is what a lot of people do. So if it's my left leg, what most people do is personal development, personal development, personal development, personal development, personal development, personal development. And you just walk in a circle. Now, sometimes you'll go personal development, activity. But then you know what? You have a little success. You get a little cocky. You're like, I don't need this personal, I don't need to do training. I don't need to plug in. I'm just going to do activity, 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 activity. And that doesn't work either. I have never not stopped being a student. I have never got so big for my britches that I can't learn from other people. People younger than me, people that have been in this business less than me, which you have to set. So again, Aaron, I hope you don't mind me using you as an example. So what I would do is with all this personal development, I kind of keep a timer. Okay, so I listened to an audio, I checked out something, I read 10 pages of a good book. Okay, that means I got about an hour of activity I need to do today. So have I made my list? Have I reached out to 3 people? Have I made a new friend on Instagram? Have I asked somebody if they would be interested in joining my new challenge group? Or have I reached out to a customer that I think has potential? Have you ever thought about doing what I do as a coach? If I showed, I don't know what you guys use. We use a video. I use a lot of like, hey, if I could send you a link to an 8-minute video to show you what I do, would you be willing to look at it and we can talk? It's literally that casual. And if they say no, like, okay. They say, yeah, sure. And it's literally just a matter of asking questions. And I don't even get to where they have to make a decision, because every follow-up, at the very least, at the very end, I just want to schedule the next follow-up. If I don't get a yes or a flat out, please leave me alone, I'm like, okay, no worries. Because I don't want to put pressure on people, right? Because if I have to convince you and I have to drag you into this business, then I'm going to have to drag you to push play. I'm going to have to drag you to drink your shake. I'm going to have to drag, and I used to run my business that way, and it's exhausting. It's not fun. I like to work with people that are just as excited about this as me and just want guidance, So really, guys, that's my wrap. Like, be in this long term. Get your hand off the back door. Make sure that you're taking both steps. And you guys can create something amazing, because I will tell you what, 11 years goes by like this. And it's a blast. I've taken trips. I've met more people. Some of my best friends are because of this business. I've taken ski trips. I've gone on cruises. I've taken bike trips. Like things I never would have done with amazing people because of this. So, Danica, I hope that helps in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, we don't know what to say. We're so go for it.
Wait a minute. I told you so.
Excuse me, I think that it was me that introduced you to Jimmy.
He's mine first.
I think I was. No, I'm not going to say what I did at Disney. But anyway, what happened at Disney stays at Disney. Jimmy,
yes.
Let's just leave it at that. Listen,
the happiest place on earth.
It's a magical place.
It was a magical place. Listen, you've just blown our absolute minds. Listen, we know how precious your time is. Guys, Jimmy's not even in our team, and he's come on this call. Listen, everybody give him a heart. Let's see that heart. Oh, this is how much we love you.
Thank you, guys.
So much. And we'll get a quick selfie as well. And we'll let you go. Don't forget to follow Jimmy on Instagram as well,
Yeah.
and he's got all his YouTube videos.
See what you've just heard? He gives you like, so like that was like the Uber dose. He gives you like little bits of this like every day, and he is just an amazing person. He's always got time for everybody. He's so humble, like, and just everything he speaks is just inspirational. So, thank you so much for your time.
I mean,
thank you, guys.
You're handsome as well.
I appreciate. Thank you.
Even I think you're handsome, Jimmy.
And the biggest, you know what? The biggest way you can say thank you is take action to do this, and then let me know. Hey, Jimmy, I put this into action, because that means more to me than anything. Like, I'm happy to give my time, but I would rather you tell me what you did than tell me that I inspired and motivated you.
Yeah.
Right? Go take action.
100% take action. Thank you so much, and thank you.
Thank you, guys.
For coming. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.